Look, here's the most heartbreaking paradox in the world of financial independence. You've spent a decade or two doing the brutal work. You save 40%, 50%, maybe even 60% of your income. You hit the infamous 4% rule target. You have $2 million in the bank. You are mathematically, financially independent. You sit down to write that resignation email, the email you dreamed about, and your hand freezes. You get this paralyzing cold shot of anxiety. You check your portfolio 5 times a day. You tell yourself, just one more year for a safe buffer. Maybe I need $2.2 million. You're financially independent, but you can't quit. You're suffering from the last mile problem of fire. You successfully ran a marathon, but you're standing frozen 5 feet from the finish line, terrified of crossing it. This is not a math problem. It's a psychology problem. The financial system trains you so well to save that it accidentally makes you incapable of spending. Today, we are solving this deep psychological trap. We are going beyond the 4% rule and giving you the mental tools to finally claim your freedom, the psychology of identity loss, why your job is more valuable than your paycheck, the fear of decumulation, the mathematical anxiety that makes you hoard cash, the happiness cliff, the specific income level where working more becomes irrational, the one-life budget, integrating time as your non-renewable asset, the soft launch solution, the actionable steps to quit before you quit. My name is John, and I spend way too much time thinking about the psychological traps that prevent smart, successful people from enjoying their hard-earned money. If you're someone who is aggressively pursuing freedom but feels stuck or terrified of the finish line, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Let's solve the paradox of financial freedom. The psychology of identity loss. Here's the core truth about the last mile problem. You didn't just accumulate money. You accumulated an identity centered around work and saving. For 10 or 15 years, your answers to life's most fundamental questions were tied to your job. Who are you? I'm a senior software engineer. How do you fill your time? I work and I manage my portfolio. How do you socialize? Through work colleagues. When you quit, the money is safe, but the answers to those questions vanish. This creates profound feelings of emptiness and anxiety. The loss of the hidden benefits. The job provides 3 benefits that have $0 sign attached. Structure. Work provides an automatic, non-negotiable schedule. Without it, the freedom is terrifying. You must choose everything you do, every hour of every day. Social capital. Studies show that a sudden loss of daily interaction leads to social isolation, which is a major factor in unhappiness, regardless of wealth. Your coworkers might be annoying, but they are a built-in community. Purpose. Your job gives you a defined purpose and measure of success. Without it, you feel a loss of meaning. You replace the meaning of your job with the meaning of saving for freedom, and once you achieve freedom, that temporary purpose is gone. Storytelling. Analogy. You are like a deep-sea diver who spent years training to reach the surface. But once you get there, you realize you have no idea what to do with the air and sunshine. Actionable step. Trial your purpose. You beat identity loss by finding your new purpose before you quit. Go part-time. Take a 3-month sabbatical or volunteer aggressively. Do not quit your job until you have a compelling, non-money-related reason to wake up every morning. The fear of decumulation, The second major factor in the last mile problem is the fear of decumulation, the mathematical anxiety that makes you hoard cash even after you hit your number. For years, your brain was rewarded every time the line on your net worth chart went up. Now, the system demands that you perform the unthinkable. Withdraw the money and watch the line go down. The problem: sequence of returns, risk. The fear is rooted in a real mathematical concept: sequence of returns risk. You know the average return is 7 to 8%. But if the market crashes 30% in your very first year of retirement, and you are forced to withdraw your annual expense amount, say 4%, from that diminished principal, you may never recover. Your portfolio is fatally wounded at the start. The psychology: reverse compounding fear. This is the reverse compounding fear. Your brain sees the tax-free loan or the withdrawal not as necessary living expenses, but as a permanent exponential delay to your safety. Example: you need $60,000 this year. Your portfolio is $2 million. You pull the $60,000. The math: if the market returns 10%, your portfolio is now $2,140,000. Safe. The fear: if the market drops 10%, your portfolio drops to $1.8 million, and your $60,000 withdrawal now feels like a permanent loss of 6 figures that will never compound. Actionable step: trial your spending, the soft launch. You beat this fear by killing the scarcity mindset before you quit. Practice spending. For the final year, practice spending your entire FIRE budget. Use your passive income, or savings, to fund all of your wants that your current job used to fund instead of saving that money. This trains your brain to accept the expenditure as non-catastrophic. Use the buckets. Set aside 2 years' worth of living expenses in cash or short-term bonds. If the market crashes in year 1, you use the cash bucket and do not sell a single share of stock. This mathematically neutralizes the sequence of returns risk and psychologically calms your withdrawal anxiety. The happiness cliff. Let's talk about the irrational reason many people fail the last mile. They keep chasing income past the point of utility, thanks to the happiness cliff. You are still working because you think more money equals more security and happiness. But research from institutions like Princeton proves that the connection between money and well-being flattens dramatically after a certain income threshold. The psychology: diminishing marginal utility. Once you reach an income level that allows you to comfortably cover basic needs, pay off high-interest debt, and handle emergencies, historically around $75,000 to $90,000 in many parts of the U.S., earning an extra $50,000 doesn't make you happier. The trap. That extra $50,000 often comes with increased stress, more hours, and less time for the things that actually drive long-term fulfillment: relationships, health, purpose. The cost. You gained $50,000 taxable dollars, but you paid an opportunity cost in the non-renewable resources of time and health. You are trading your most valuable asset, time in your physical prime, for your least valuable asset, a marginal increase in income. Here's what most people don't realize. Your obsession with earning a higher salary is probably delaying your freedom, not accelerating it, because you're trading exponential time for linear cash. Actionable step: the time trade audit. Identify your cliff. Determine the income level that covers your expenses and your high savings goal without stress. Audit the cost. When offered a raise or promotion, Don't ask, how much extra money? Ask, how many extra hours or how much extra stress will this cost me? If the money is above your identified happiness cliff, prioritize the job that offers maximum flexibility and minimum stress over the one that offers maximum dollars. You arbitrage income for time. The one-life budget. We'll finish with the concept that eliminates the irrational delay of the last-mile problem, the one-life budget. The math of FIRE, the 4% rule, treats money as the finite resource you must protect. The one-life budget forces you to recognize that time is your only non-renewable asset. The psychology, the illusion of tomorrow. We suffer from the illusion of tomorrow, the belief that we have infinite time to start living. We trade the best years of our lives, our 30s and 40s, when our energy and health are peaking, for the promise of a potentially less vigorous freedom in our 60s. The last mile problem is often just fear of pulling the trigger, fueled by the illusion that those 2 extra years of saving don't cost anything, but they cost 2 years of your life that you can never buy back. The math, prioritizing non-monetary assets. The one-life budget requires you to shift from a long-term savings-focused mentality to a present-value spending-focused mentality. Establish 3-time buckets. Bucket 1, the now budget. Money dedicated to spending before age 50 on physical experiences, travel, and health. These are experiences best enjoyed while young. This money should be explicitly saved outside the FIRE number. Bucket 2, the prime FIRE budget. The core 4% rule money. This sustains your main freedom. Bucket 3, the late life budget, dedicated to long-term health, long-term care, and legacy. This money is a safety net for after age 80. The magic. By creating the now budget, you eliminate the fear that you will look back and realize you wasted your best years accumulating assets you didn't need yet. You are pre-funding the experiences that have high time value. The ultimate financial freedom is the confidence to spend the right amount of money at the right time in your life. Don't just budget dollars, budget your years. Conclusion and motivation. Look, the reason you can't quit your job isn't a math problem, it's a failure to address the psychology of identity and scarcity. You beat the structural fear of quitting by having a purpose and social structure ready. You neutralize the financial fear by using the soft launch and the cash bucket to mitigate sequence of returns risk. You stop chasing income by identifying your happiness cliff. And you prioritize your life by creating the one-life budget and recognizing that time is your true non-renewable asset. The path to financial freedom is clear, but the psychological journey is brutal. Don't let your discipline steal your joy, and don't let your fear waste your best years. The anchor portfolio strategy. Killing sequence of returns, risk. All right, we've identified the fear. The sequence of returns risk, the market crashing the day you quit. And we know that fear is the primary fuel for the last mile problem. You need a strategy that doesn't just manage the risk mathematically, but destroys the psychological anxiety of watching your principal drop. I call this the anchor portfolio strategy. The problem: illiquidity breeds anxiety. When you hold everything in volatile stocks and bonds, the 60-40 or 80-20 portfolios, every single withdrawal in a downturn is a permanent forced liquidation at a loss. Your portfolio becomes a liquid asset that feels incredibly fragile. The solution: creating a psychological anchor. The anchor portfolio strategy separates your wealth into 2 clear buckets with distinct psychological roles. The growth portfolio, the ship, this is 80 to 90% of your assets. It's high growth, high risk, stocks, equity, ETFs. You understand this is volatile, but you promise yourself, I will never sell this unless the market is soaring. Its job is to grow for the next 20 years. The anchor portfolio, the buffer. This is 10 to 20% of your assets, specifically designed to cover 5 to 7 years of living expenses. This must be held in safe liquid assets, high-yield savings accounts, short-term treasury bonds, CDS, or very short-term bond, ETFs. Its job is not to grow. Its job is to provide absolute certainty. The mechanics, the shield against fear. When the market drops 30% in your first year of fire, the nightmare scenario, the fear. You look at the growth portfolio, the ship, and see it's down $600,000. Panic sets in. The anchor. You simply look at the anchor portfolio and see 7 full years of cash flow sitting there untouched by the crash. You withdraw your annual expense amount only from the anchor. The result, the growth portfolio is allowed to recover for 5 to 7 years without a single withdrawal. This statistically eliminates the sequence of returns risk and, more importantly, eliminates the immediate anxiety that forces you back to work. Actionable step, the anchor liquidity audit. If you are within 2 years of quitting, stop looking at total net worth. Look at your anchor liquidity. You must shift 5 to 7 years of expenses out of stocks and into high-quality, high-certainty cash products. This is the final mathematical step to secure the emotional safety needed to quit. The sunk cost of work, the career trap. We've covered the financial and general identity fears, but there's a specific, dangerous psychological trap that keeps high earners stuck. The sunk cost of work. You might hate your job, but you stay because you spent 15 years climbing the corporate ladder to reach that senior director title and a huge salary. You think, I can't possibly give up all that effort. The psychology, avoiding loss, not maximizing gain. This is a classic manifestation of the sunk cost fallacy. This fallacy dictates that we continue investing resources, time, effort, and money into something simply because we have already invested heavily in it, even when continuing is irrational. Your brain focuses not on the freedom you will gain, but on the status, title, and identity you will lose, the cost already paid. The trap. You are staying in a miserable job not because of future benefit, but because you want to justify the past pain it took to get there. The math. The true value of your title. Let's quantify the sunk cost of your high-paying career, your current state, $2 million fire portfolio. You are mathematically free. The sunk cost. You stay 3 more years to keep the VP title, making an extra $150,000 per year. After tax and high spending, the opportunity cost, the real loss. You traded 3 years of your healthy prime, and the $450,000 you earned is largely irrelevant to your $2 million portfolio safety. Here's what most people don't realize. Your high-status title is often the most expensive thing you own. It demands massive inputs of time and stress, but offers zero marginal happiness, the happiness cliff. It is a negative asset to your happiness. Storytelling analogy. You are standing in front of the exit door of a casino. You've already won $2 million, but you refuse to leave because you spent 15 years learning how to play the casino's game. The freedom is outside, but the sunk cost keeps you chained to the table. Actionable step. The zero-based life audit. You beat the sunk cost fallacy by performing a zero-based life audit. Assume you quit. Imagine you quit yesterday. What would you do today? What activities would you fund with your wealth? Evaluate current work. Does your current job advance those activities? Bucket one of the One Life budget. If the job is only advancing your balance, which is already sufficient, then the job has a value of 0. The rule, only evaluate your life based on future gains, freedom and purpose, never on past expenditures, time and titles. Final summary and the new definition of freedom. Look, the reason you can't quit your job isn't a math problem. It's a failure to address the psychology of identity and scarcity. We've solved every single financial freedom paradox today. You beat the structural fear of quitting by trialing your purpose and social structure ready. You neutralize the financial fear by using the anchor portfolio strategy to crush sequence of returns risk. You stop chasing income by identifying your happiness cliff. You break the chains of your career by recognizing the sunk cost of work. And you prioritize your life by creating the One Life budget and recognizing that time is your true non-renewable asset. The old definition of financial freedom was a number. The new definition of financial freedom is the confidence to spend the right amount of money at the right time with a self-defined purpose. The path to freedom is clear, but the psychological journey is brutal. Don't let your discipline steal your joy, and don't let your fear waste your best years. If this video helped you flip your thinking on the last mile problem, hit that like button. Let me know in the comments, what percentage of your portfolio will you move into your anchor portfolio today? If you want to dive deeper into the core principles of building wealth through consistent investing, check out this video, Financial Independence, Retiring Early and Living Your Dreams, because it shares the experiences of those who have successfully navigated the entire FIRE journey. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stop letting the future steal your now.